welcome back to my channel. Today I thought we'd do a 2-page Star Wars scrapbook layout. The paper that I'm using for today is actually from scrapbook.com. I'm actually using 3 different ones. For my main paper, it's actually from Cartabella. It's called Our Little Man. Next I have Simple Stories, So Happy Together, and it's called Sunflower Dots. And lastly, by Echo Park, I do have a Dog's Tale, and this one's called Wolf Words. To start off, I do have a tiny little piece. This was actually supposed to be a border. It was going to go ahead and be in the background, but literally this is the only piece you were going to be able to see, because I'm going to go ahead and put a lot of layers, and I thought it was quite silly and a waste of paper to go ahead and cut out a full border. So instead what I'm going to use is just this tiny little piece. It measures 2 inches, and I'll go ahead and place it right here. I did want to mention that I was inspired to do this layout by a layout I found on Pinterest. So the idea is actually not my own. It doesn't exactly match it, but it's very similar to it. For my next piece, it does measure 11 inches by 11 inches. Now to get this image, I actually just created a circle on my silhouette and just extended it. And once I got the size that I liked, I just cut it with my knife feature on both sides. So I'm not exactly sure what the circle measured. I just made it quite big. Okay, and I'll go ahead and glue this down with my zip dry. I did ink all my edges with my Stampin' Up! Basic black. If you guys hear my kids laughing, they're actually in the next room, and my husband's trying to entertain them while I record a couple of videos. And they're being quite loud. Now for my next piece, I'm going to go ahead and bring in my my next slide so I could go ahead and explain it better. Now the idea for this layout is to have the scene of Batuu from Galaxy's Edge, which is at Disneyland. And what I ended up doing was I was looking for this silhouette of Batuu. I just pretty much Googled it and kind of saw what came out, and what I ended up doing was I downloaded this image onto my silhouette and traced it so I could go ahead and have it in the background. And I ended up just stretching it out to about 23 inches long, and then with my knife feature just cut it down the center. So it'll kind of look like this. And when I did cut it down the center with my knife feature, you know, when you cut something, it automatically cuts it. What I ended up doing was I checked off that area where it says to apply cut, and I cut it down the center, and then I went to the right and went to the line section and brought it down to the tiniest bit, because otherwise if I would just cut it, it would have left like a gap, a big gap in between, and I wanted the thinnest line when it cut. If you don't have a silhouette, don't worry about that tiny little bit. as soon as I lowered it, the thin line, then I went ahead and applied cut for it to cut then. Next, I do have a border from Google. It measures 11.5 by 1 1/4, and this I'll go ahead and bring here towards the bottom. Next, I'll go ahead and back this on a piece of 12 by 12 craft cardstock paper. To start off, I do have two photo mats. They do measure 5 1/4 by 4 1/4, and on my silhouette, I did do internal offset. Put one in each corner. I do have the Millennium Falcon, and now this was actually measured along with the city. Next, I do have my title. It does measure 2 3/8 by 5 1/4. It does read Sweet Home Batu. And for this, actually, I just created it on my silhouette as well. For the rebellion sign, actually, when I was looking for this image, I came across this one and I really liked it. So I decided to go ahead and use it. And then afterwards, I typed in Sweet Home Batu, grouped it together. And then I also added a lightsaber on top, grouped it together, created an offset, put my rebellion sign behind it, and then grouped everything together and created an additional offset. So this I just created, and then the top layer I did pop it up with 1 thickness of foam tape. Right here. Next, I do have Chewy. He does measure 5 3/8 by 4 inches. I did pop him up on 1 thickness of foam tape. Everything has been paper piece, and for him, he's actually a Googled image that I brought onto my silhouette and traced. If anybody's interested, I do have a tutorial on that. Go ahead and put him right over here. Next, from Marjorie Ann Designs, I think. I'll double check and leave information on the description down below just in case anybody's interested. But I do have my Darth Vader. He does measure 4 1/4 by 3 1/8. And here on the center, I did use stickles. And I did pop him up on 1 thickness of foam tape, and his cape, I actually laid it down flat just to give it a bit of dimension. And for my Stormtrooper, he does measure 3 3/4 by 1 3/4, and he's laid down flat. Now, originally, since this layout is actually for my husband, it's a gift for him. All the pictures so he could go ahead and pick some pictures he's taken so far. I was going to go ahead and leave it like this, but my daughter actually saw me working on this layout and she said, "Excuse me, mommy, where's the girl?" And I said, "What girl?" And she said, "Girl, where's the girl? Put a girl." And I thought, oh no, I was just going to go ahead and leave it like this. But she kept insisting on the girl. So I thought, oh my gosh, how am I going to tell her there's no girl here? So I decided to go ahead and Google Ray, but I couldn't find a file that I was able to trace. I was on there for over an hour and everything I tried wouldn't trace well. So it goes to show you that not all images that you want to trace will work. So what I ended up doing was going on Etsy and I typed in Ray SVG and right away I got one that I like. I got this one, and let me just tell you, I don't recommend this file. I'll go ahead and put it in the description down below just in case anybody's interested. I wasn't even going to do that, but I had about 3 people on Snapchat tell me they really like this file. I do not like it. I will never ever cut this file again unless it's like really big. It has so much detail that I had to cut things up about 4 times, and I kid you not, I had to cut things about a couple of times and it just kept cutting off. I kept adjusting my blade over and over and over, and it was too much detail, and I kept pulling my hair off, and I was really annoyed, and I was actually about to scrap this from this layout, but I remember my daughter kept asking for a girl, so I thought, whatever, let me just continue making her, and she comes out the way she came out. So for Ray, she measures 4 3/4 by 3 1/4. Go ahead and place her right here. I really like how Darth Vader came out. He's so cute. And the same thing for Darth Vader. Kylo Ren is actually the one that walks around at Galaxy's Edge, but they also didn't have Kylo Ren, they had Darth Vader. And my husband loves Darth Vader. If you would see his collection, Star Wars collection, everything is just Darth Vader. And he actually had a lightsaber. He created a lightsaber. And of course he duplicated Darth Vader's lightsaber. And for a little bit added touch, I do have 2 TIE Fighters. They measure 1.5 by 1.5. And again, this is one of the images that came up when I found this one. You know how when you Google items, the other things that pop up? And I wasn't even looking for these and I thought they were so cute. And there you have it. This is my 2-page Star Wars scrapbook layout. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day and I hope to see you soon. Thank you so much. Bye for now.